Okay, so what I would like to do in this video is a quiz review using some of the homework problems that were due today. So I'll show you the answers to all the problems, but I just hand-picked certain ones that I felt would be important for you to know for your quiz, so I'm going to go over those. Alright, the first one is number 1. If you're asked to determine whether the triangles are, and this should have said similar rather than congruent, using one of the things that we studied there, what you're going to do, first of all, number 1, is all you're given is side information, and so you want to compare the sides and see if you can figure out if they're all proportional. So when you're given triangles and we don't know which sides are corresponding necessarily, what you're going to do is choose the smallest side of one triangle. So for this one it's 37.4, and then you're going to put that over the smallest side for the other triangle, which is 17. And then we're going to do that for the next smallest side. So we're going to take 44 and we're going to divide that by the next smallest side here, which is 20. And then we're going to take the largest side, which is 55, and we're going to divide it by the largest side over here, which is 25. For this, since we're not asked for a scale, we can just go ahead and on our calculators, we can figure out the percentage, or I mean the decimal, to see if they have the same ratio. So I take 37.4 divided by 17, and that's 2.2. And then I'm going to take 44 divided by 20, and that's 2.2. And then I have 55 divided by 25, and that's also 2.2. So now I know they all have the same ratio. So if you were asked, are these triangles similar? The answer would be yes. To state how they're similar, what you would say is side, 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 similarity. And then if you were asked to write a similarity statement, which I'm not going to ask you to do in the quiz, but you will need to know later, you would say triangle, and then I'm going to start with my shortest side, and so I would have T to R to S, and that would be similar to the triangle. Again, I'm going to start with the shortest side, Q, and I'm going to go to the next shortest side there, which is N, and then P. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one I wanted to go over was number 8. So for number 8, I essentially have a triangle here within another triangle. So again, I know right off the bat that these angles here on these triangles are congruent. So I've got the congruent angles, so now I'm going to see if the sides are proportional. So for this triangle here, that angle is congruent to this larger triangle here, has that angle as well. Alright, so I want to compare on my sides here. So I see this whole thing is 21. If this is 6, then 21 minus 6 makes this 15, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Alright, so now when I'm comparing the sides of the triangle, the shorter side here, this side of this triangle is 15, and I'm going to compare it to the longer side here, which is going to be 21. And then over here I want to compare this side of the shorter, or I should say smaller triangle, which is 10, and I'm going to compare that to the larger side, to the side of the larger triangle, which is 14. 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay, so I'm comparing, for these, the corresponding sides are kind of set up for me because I have a, I know what the side length is on that, and then the total there. So then if I figure out what each of these ratios are going to be, I can just take 15 divided by 21, and that's 0.714. You could also, this one's probably easier just to reduce to a fraction, but it has the same 0.714. So the answer to this would be yes, it is similar. It's similar by side, angle, side similarity, and then if you were to write the similarity statement, it would be triangle JLN is similar to triangle KLM. Okay, the next problem I want to go over is number 13. This section was a review, but because your quiz is covering everything from sections 1, 2, and 3, these problems are excellent problems to know how to do for your quiz. So this says the ratios of the measures of the sides of a triangle is 2 to 10 to 7. Find the length of each side if the perimeter of the triangle is 228 meters. So remember when we set these up, we set them up as 2x plus 10x plus 7x is equal to 288 because the perimeter was 288. You can do the math on that. Hopefully you got x is equal to, should have been 12. X is equal to 12. Now on the quiz and on all these problems you have to be very careful to see what are they asking you. So here it's saying find the length of each side of the triangle. So to find the length of each side, you're going to take 2 times 12, you're going to take 10 times 12, and you're going to take 7 times 12. So your answers here should have been 24, 120 meters, and 84 meters. If on the quiz you were asked to find the length of the smallest side, let's say, then you would only want to put the 2 times 12 as 24. Or if you were asked to find the length of the largest side, you would want to take 10 times your 12 and give 120. Okay, the next one, the ratios of the measures of the angles of a triangle are 5 to 13 to 2. Find the measures of the angles. Well, we know that all the measures of the angles should add up to 180. So we're going to take 5x plus 13x plus 2x is equal to 180. You're going to solve for x. X is equal to 9. And then it says find the measures of the angles. So we want to find all of them. So we're going to take 5 times 9, 13 times 9, and 2 times 9. And give all the angles. So we've got 45 degrees, 117 degrees, and 18 degrees. Okay, the next kind of problem here, now this is our triangle similarity. This was like what was on homework number 2. Find the value of x. The key here is you really want to look at the order of your letters when they're describing the triangles. It's very hard to tell just by looking at these two triangles which sides are corresponding, but you always know which sides are corresponding when you look at the letters. So here I see that it looks like FD, so DF is going to be corresponding to DG. So I'm going to say 2x plus 7, so that's my FD, over DG, which is 40, is equal to, and then I want to see here, I want to start with the same triangle I did for this one, ED, so that would be this right here, 5x minus 2, over this CD, which is 48. Okay, so I'm going to set this up based on the order of my letters in my triangle. Start with this triangle, grab one of the sides, figure out which one it's corresponding to. It's corresponding to 40. Set up your fraction. Go back to the first triangle, find ED, 5x minus 2, and then set it up to the one that's corresponding, which ED is corresponding to CD, so that would be over 48. And then you can do the algebra on that and get x is equal to 4. And then the last one, it's the exact same thing. It's going to be, could be hard to look at the triangle. This one's a little bit easier, but here I see ST is going to be corresponding to PL. So I'm going to have x plus 1 over PL, which is 72, is equal to, and then I've got this TU here, which is 2x minus 3. And that's going to be corresponding to LM. LM is 99. Okay, again, use your letters to figure out your corresponding sides. Go from one triangle to the other one, and then go back to the first one, figure out which one is corresponding, and that's your ratio. So you do that, x is equal to 7. Alright, so I'm going to just put up the key real quick. As you're doing this, you might want to pause the video. So you should have through 10 now. If anyone doesn't, just raise your hand, pause it, and make sure everyone gets a chance to see it. Okay. And then on the back side, there's 11 and 12. I did 13 and 14, but you can see a couple of steps of algebra in there. And then 15 and 16. If there are any problems that you are still confused about that maybe I didn't go over, raise your hand, and if you could just find someone in the classroom who would be confident to explain the problem, you can even go up to the board and explain it if you would like to do that. Make sure that you're working together, because I know there'll be someone who knows how to do it. And otherwise, if you feel comfortable with all the problems I went over, you should be ready for the quiz, and go ahead and take the quiz now.